here in the Eastern Conference Finals. Raptors win a thriller, and the series is tied at 2 games apiece.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Reese's Roundup. I am your host, I'm just waking up and realized that I had to record this video, Lightning Kid himself, and today we're gonna be talking about the Eastern Conference and Western Conference battle so far. Now, last week I made a prediction. I said that the Cleveland Cavaliers would blow out the Toronto Raptors. And guys, I am sadly mistaken, because I did not think that the Toronto Raptors would have come back down from 2-0 and tie up the series at 2 apiece. Now, they're going back to Cleveland for Game 5, and the Raptors are now all tied up with the Cavs. So, my theory is that the Raptors can only win at home, and if that's the case, then the Cavs have this one in the bag. Because there's no way that Toronto is going to go all the way to Cleveland, in Cleveland, and win. I don't see that happening, but the better chance is for Cleveland to win a game in Toronto. Now, from what I saw last night and the last time they played in Toronto, the Cavs can win. They have the best chance to win in an away game than the Raptors do in an away game. So I don't see the Raptors beating the Cavs. In all honesty, I do think that the Cavs can win in 6. They have to go back to Cleveland for Game 5, and then in Game 6 they go to Toronto. Now, the Cavs will win Game 5, no doubt about that. I don't see Toronto going to Cleveland and beating Cleveland in Cleveland. There's just no way that's happening. So, with that being said, I do think that with the momentum that they'll have from winning Game 5, they'll go to Toronto, realize how they have to play, how they have to, what kind of matchups they need, and how to handle the Toronto crowd, and then they'll go in and win Game 6. I don't think they'll blow them out like they did in the first 2 games, but they will come back and win the Game 6 in probably a close game. Cleveland's been blowing competition out of the water, and Toronto's been their only challenge so far this series. But I do feel like my camera's about to die. Damn it! Okay, we're back. Okay, I don't remember where okay, alright, yeah, perfect, alright. So, I do feel like, the Cavs have the better chance of winning, on the road than the Raptors do. Just LeBron, I think Kevin Love is going to be out for the next game, but I don't think that really matters. Valanciunas, he might make a comeback. I'm not too sure about that, so don't quote me on that. But regardless, I do feel like now LeBron has to take over. Kyrie Irving is going to have to step up because he played horrendous in that last game. So, even J.R. Smith is going to have to shoot better. So, with that being said, I do think that the Cavs have the better chance. Yeah. I don't see Toronto being the team to beat Cleveland, even though they're on their way, even though they tied up the series. But Kyle Lowry will still be Kyle Lowry. He's an overrated player. DeMar DeRozan can't perform well in the playoffs. So that's gonna be their downfall, is those 2 guys right there. Unless Biyombo takes over and just absolutely lights it up, and the guy can't shoot, so that's gonna be their biggest problem too. So I do give the advantage to Cleveland in this one, because LeBron will be LeBron and he'll carry this team like he always does. But sometimes he can't carry games. Sometimes he can't win for the team. So we'll see what happens come Game 5. But like I said, there's no way Toronto's winning in Cleveland, and Cleveland does have the better chance of winning in Toronto. So maybe that momentum will help them carry it over to Toronto for Game 6. But if it does go down to a Game 7, then I don't know. I'll have to question that if Cleveland will win that one, because if Cleveland brings it to a Game 7, and even though it will be played in Cleveland, I will highly doubt Cleveland's chances of even winning or even winning the finals against whoever comes out of the West. And now, speaking of the West, Woo! We got a bat. We got. Was the Lightning Kid? Was the Lightning Kid the only one that thought the Thunder had the best chance to come out of the West? I ain't just a Grizzlies fan, guys. Now listen, the Thunder have been dominating the Warriors so far this series. Now, albeit, Game 2, the Warriors blew them the hell out of the water, but that was in Golden State, and there was no way that the Thunder were going to win 2 straight in Golden State. I'm rhyming out here. So, that was to be expected. I did say that they were going to take 1 game in Golden State. So, I didn't think it would be the first game, but I did think that they were going to take 1 game out of the 2. Now they're in OKC, and they blew them out in OKC, so I don't think that the Warriors will win another game in OKC. They do have the better chance of beating. Well, I don't know. I can't say that for sure. I don't know which team is better than the other on the road so far this series, because when the Thunder played the Spurs, the Thunder beat the Spurs in San Antonio. So, and the Spurs are one of the hardest teams to beat at home. They were like 41-1. So, with that being said, I kind of give the slight edge to the Thunder, but at the same time, Golden State's arena is just, I don't know how they can lose at home in Golden State, but the Thunder are just, road warriors. So, I'd probably give the advantage to the Thunder only because I say that. Well, the only reason I say that is because they beat the Spurs in San Antonio before, and the Spurs have the better record at home than any other team in the regular season, in the playoffs, whatever. So the advantage does go to the Spurs. The Thunder. If it came down to who's going to win in the opponent's home court. So with that being said, if it comes down to a Game 7 and it's going to Oakland, then the Thunder might just shock the world. Not me, but the world. Now the biggest concern is tonight's game, because Draymond Green is going to play. Now the reason I say that is because, in case you didn't know, Draymond was fined $25,000, and he got his foul upgraded from a flagrant 1 to a flagrant 2. Now, the reason he's not getting suspended is because, it's the Warriors, and everybody loves the Warriors, and the NBA wants to see the Warriors go all the way. So, they're going to need all hands on deck to stop the Thunder, and, Draymond is, probably their biggest offensive weapon. So, they want to see Draymond out there, because there's no way that, they don't suspend Draymond Green for kicking some guy in the nuts. It just doesn't make sense for that. It especially doesn't make sense to upgrade it to a flagrant 2, since a flagrant 2 is an ejection. So at least give him the suspension if you're going to upgrade it, because he's going to get ejected. If he gets ejected. But that's what a flagrant 2 is. A flagrant 2 is an ejection, so it doesn't make sense to not suspend him if you're giving him a foul that leads to an ejection. But, that's the NBA will be the NBA. So, Draymond is playing in that game, and I do feel like, the Thunder do have another chance to pull out a win. I don't even want to say it's an upset, because the Thunder are dominating so far this series. Aside from Game 2 where they just completely fell apart, but they blew the Warriors out of the water. Now the Warriors will be the Warriors, and everybody wants to say, last season the Warriors were down 2-1 and against the Grizzlies and against the Cavs, and they came back and won 4-2. Now, let me tell you something about the Grizzlies. First of all, last season, the Memphis Grizzlies were a okay team. We made it to the second round of the playoffs, but that's as far as we've ever gone since we hired Dave Yeager. Okay. Secondly, the Grizzlies are not the Thunder. The Thunder are a better team now than the Grizzlies were last year. So, with the Grizzlies being down 2-1, that just doesn't. With the Grizzlies being up 2-1, that doesn't mean anything, because the Warriors The Warriors are even a better team now than they were last year. So, you know, both teams being better than they are before, it doesn't make sense for the Warriors to have been down 2-1 against not a good Grizzlies team, but, you know, a decent Grizzlies team, you know. So, and then on top of that, you want to say that they were down 2-1 against the Cavs, but who were they playing? You know, they played against Matthew Dellavedova, no Kevin Love. You know, it was just LeBron on that team, and the fact that you were down 2-1 against Cleveland scratches my head. So to say that you can come back against the Thunder, you know, the Thunder, who are playing lights out basketball right now, better than any other team that I've seen so far this series, is definitely ignorant, because you know, you just can't compare the Thunder to the Grizzlies or the depleted Cavs team last year. You know, the Cavs had nobody. The Grizzlies they didn't belong in the playoffs. Well, they did, but they didn't deserve to win that series. And I was surprised that we were even up 2-1. And then Tony Allen got hurt. Mike Conley got you know, his face. You know, that was a problem. So, you know, I can see why they had that somewhat of a comeback. But, you know, we were dealing with injuries too. We lost our best defensive player. Mike Conley wasn't playing at 100%. So, you know, there were some issues with that too. Probably we could have won. Who knows? That series. But, you know, I'm not even going to get into that. So, yeah, the Thunder, I just don't see that they'll lose this series. They probably, you know, might go to a Game 7 or even a Game 6. But people are saying, you know, Thunder in 5, Thunder in, you know, I don't see the Warriors only winning that one game, you know. Hey! Could you not mow your lawn? Hey! So, yeah, like I was saying, I don't see the Warriors only winning one game. That's preposterous. That's definitely not going to happen, you know, especially with what they did in Game 2. If it's going to be like that and it's going to be back and forth blowouts between both teams, you know, it could come down to the Thunder winning Game 7. But I just feel like the Thunder right now have the momentum to win the next game and, you know, go win Game 6, Game 7 if it comes down to it. But I don't see the Thunder winning in 5. No way. But that's going to do it for today's episode, guys. Let me know what you want to see next week. I'll probably talk about, you know, if the finals start next week, I'll talk about that. We'll see what happens. Give this video a thumbs up. I'll see you guys next time. Holla at your boy. Peace.